Hey, welcome to Get Fit with Nick, where I talk about fitness, attitude, and nutrition. In this video, I want to talk about benefits in meal prepping. And these benefits that I'm listing off is what has worked for me in the past, and also they're based on research-based articles that I've read. So the first one I want to talk about is going to make it a lot easier to reach your health fitness goal, whatever that relates to, either gaining muscle, losing fat, or just eating a lot more vegetables. And then it can also be easier to count calories, count macros, which are your protein, fats, and carbs. And then it can also help you limit snacking and also eating out. The second and third benefit that I want to talk about, they go hand in hand with each other. So it's going to save you time, it's going to save you money. It's going to save you money because you're not going to go out during lunchtime and spend money on it. And of course you're going to save time because you're not going to have to freaking get your butt up out of lunch and then go to your favorite fast food joint and pick up whatever food you're craving. And the fourth benefit I want to tell you guys about is that it's going to help you build a better relationship with food, and also help you to learn better portion control. Just because throughout time and just building a better relationship, you're just going to be more comfortable with knowing what 6 ounces of chicken are, knowing what, hey, I need to add 1 cup of veggies, stuff like that. So the next thing I want to talk about is tips. So just real quick, I want to list some basic tips on how to make meal prepping easier. So what I have listed down here is actually 6 tips that I've just and there's more tips to make it meal prepping easier. But so my 6 tips are going to be this. The first one's going to be, it's going to help you to make sure that you're getting all your macros, your protein, fats, and carbs. Depending on what kind of diet you're on, the keto diet, which is usually lower carbs, higher in fats, and moderate protein. The diet that I eat is just meat based, so I eat a higher portion of protein, roughly 190 grams, and then fats I like to stay a little bit lower, like on the 78, around 60 to 80 grams, and then carbs, those are the ones I eat a lot of. I eat roughly around 260 grams of carbs. The second tip to help meal prepping easier is going to be buy some storage containers, buy some food containers, and stay organized. So find a well-known location in your kitchen, whatever cupboard you like to put them in, and just store those food containers there. That way it makes it a lot easier. And then the next step I want to talk about is set a date and a time out of each week. That's going to be easier for you, whether you have kids, whatever's going to be less busier for you. For me, it's Sunday, which is where I record all my videos for YouTube, and also where I like to do most of my fitness stuff, which includes meal prepping. So on Sundays, I usually go to church in the morning, and then I usually towards the early evening, late afternoon, like 3 or 4 o'clock is when I literally go in the kitchen and start meal prepping. The fourth tip that I want to tell you about is buy Foodscale. Buying Foodscale is kind of a necessity. Not really, it's a tip, but it's also a necessity, because if you're not buying a Foodscale, you're going to think that you're getting this much, but your mind's going to trick you, especially if you're hungry. Your mind's going to trick you to eat, put a bigger portion than you actually need. So therefore, if you're thinking you got 1 ounce of something, you're probably putting like 3 ounces of, which is where people think that, hey, I'm actually having a well balanced diet, but you're not. You're actually overeating. The next tip I want to tell you about is when you go grocery shopping. So when you go grocery shopping, you want to make sure you make a grocery list. So for me, I like to stay organized, like I said before, and just make a grocery list. And then when you make a grocery list, make sure that you're getting all your essentials there, such as like fiber-based stuff, vegetables, your greens, your proteins, carbs, and fats, like I mentioned earlier. And also a big thing is don't go grocery shopping when you're hungry. And the last tip I want to give you guys is just make it enjoyable. Like I said in some of my other videos, is make this enjoyable, because it's about the longevity of being healthy. So make it enjoyable, don't make it boring. So those are the benefits and tips that I just kind of wrote them down, and actually helped me a lot. But now I want to show you what I actually do in the kitchen, how I make it easier for me, and what I meal prep and how I meal prep. And I'm also going to put some ingredients in there that I made, such as like protein pancakes that I made. So stay tuned for that. So let's go to the kitchen. Pancakes that I actually created own recipe on, and for the only things I meal prep is for lunch, which I didn't state earlier. But for breakfast, I usually eat 3 eggs, some kind of carbs, and I put some spinach or broccoli on there. But I like to have this recipe made protein pancakes, just because it helps me get a little bit faster carbs and protein in my diet. So here's the recipe for you, but I'll tell you really quick what I put in here. So I put this Kodiak cake. It's a pancake and waffle mix. I put 3 cups of those, and I use just whole milk. You can use reduced fat, whatever you like. And then I use 3 whole eggs. And then I like to use a protein powder, Ghost, just because they're a lot tastier and a lot more flavorful. So that's the reason why I like Ghost Whey protein powder. And this one that I'm using is Fruity Cereal Milk. And then the last thing that I put in the ingredients is actually a 1/4 cup of peanut butter. So if you come a little bit closer, I'm just going to show you how I mix this in there. So, like I said, I use 3 cups of this Kodiak cake, which it seems like a lot, but I need a lot of servings because I like eating roughly 3 to 4 for breakfast. And then if I'm craving some, or if I need a little bit more protein or carbs or whatever, and then I eat like another maybe 3 or so for dinner time. So there's that. Put that aside there. Here's the eggs here. Eggs, again, just another quicker way to get protein in there. Here's the 1 scoop of any kind of whey protein powder you like, but this scenario I use Ghost. And then, so a 1/4 cup of protein, or peanut butter is 4 tablespoons. It doesn't have to be exact for this, just you get a tablespoon and use kind of rough measurements. Fine. And then so then I just grab a whisk and whisk it on up. There are 2 1/4 cups of milk. So this is a cup measurement. I whisked this up behind the scenes. But if you look over here and towards this way, this is a freaking lifesaver. So we got this for, I think, Christmas or some kind of wedding gift or whatever it was, my wife and I did. But this is a lifesaver. So I just usually preheat this, and as soon as I'm done whisking this all up, I just use a, for this, because I'm going to be a lot more servings, I use a 1/3 cup for my servings. So I usually they recommend like a 1/4 for each protein size, or for each pancake size, but I use a 1/3 cup. And then I just go ahead and put them up. And the way I divide this to see how many macros, protein, carbs, and fats are in each individual pancake, I'll show it in the clip below, or in the details below. But you just get the total protein, carbs, and fats, and then here's what they are. So you get this total here, and let's say for instance I made 20 servings. You would just take 220 divided by 20, and that's what each pancake would have for carbs. So I'm not really good at flipping pancakes, but this is the last bit of it. So far I have 11 here. So it's 12, 13, 14, 15. This is a stupid looking one, so I'm just gonna feed it to my dog. But these, so 15, and I'll show you what you get here. So for these final measurements, you would take 220 grams of carbs, 160 grams of protein, and 70 grams of fat. You would divide that by 15 servings, since you made 15 pancakes, and that would be what each individual pancake measures. So then that's how, my favorite app to use is MyFitnessPal. Now MyFitnessPal actually is very useful for that kind of thing. So you can actually go up there and create your own meal, input your carbs, proteins, and fats, and that's kind of how I do it. And so I would have, based upon the serving size that I have, so I have 15 here. That leaves me with roughly, with a 5-day week, 3 for each breakfast. So for breakfast, I will have 3 eggs this week, served with some kind of vegetable, and then served with 3 protein pancakes. So for my lunches, I decided to get some boneless, skinless chicken thighs. And I like changing up my meats every week. I usually get chicken breast, or I get sirloin steak, some beef chuck roast, some even cow tongue. These are the seasonings I use. I use Slap Your Mama, and then I use carne asada seasoning. Don't be afraid to season your meat, because again, you try to keep it enjoyable, not boring. And then I went and bought a pre-cooked 8 ounces of chicken, or boneless thighs, for each meal. So here are my 15 protein pancakes, and then I have 6 meals of the skinless chicken thighs, roughly 8 ounces, and then 2 ounces pre-measured of rice, Those are my Alaskan salmon burgers. And then I eat a protein bar. I like to eat every 3 hours, but you can eat whatever you want. Intermittent fasting, only 3 meals a day. I like to eat 6 meals a day, just because I get hungry a lot. And then, so let's talk about this food scale that I bought. It's a Taylor food scale. So obviously there's the on button right there. And you can see here that it shows pounds, ounces. You click the unit, it shows grams, fluid ounces, and then it also shows milliliters, and back to pound/ounces. There's 2. And then you just hold it for a few seconds, turns it off, and that's the Taylor food scale for you. And here's the final product of my meal prepping day.